Hey there, how's it going? It's Isaac Schade, joined with Coach Pac Kilby. There is no Carolina football game today, so what are we doing? We are going to rewatch Carolina's Final Four victory over the Duke Blue Devils. Make sure you've got the link pulled up. It is the link is tagged in the chat on our YouTube chat, so make sure you got that pulled up. If you want to join us in chat, dive right on in. You got to make sure you're subscribed to the channel. That is the only way to join us in the chat. If you haven't subscribed, do it, because we're going to be giving away a Final Four program as we talk today. And so that will be great. Make sure you are joining us there. Pac, you doing all right on this Saturday?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Can't wait to dive into this Final Four game, man.
Man, it's going to be great. Going to be great stuff. Pac and I actually were both at the game, and so we'll talk about that, and it'll be wonderful. So we're going to give you just a minute or two to make sure you've got the link pulled up. Again, you can find that link on the page there in the chat, and you can see it going on. So make sure you already have that at your disposal, and we will dive right in just a minute. All right. Man, good day of college football going on already. Love it. There's all sorts of good stuff. We got people hopping in. What's up, Todd? What's up, Liz? Glad you guys are here. All right, Pac, I think it is time that we should get rolling. What do you think?
Let's do it.
All right, folks. So here's how we're going to do this. I'm just going to count down 3, 2, 1. I'm going to press play right here on my Amazon Fire Stick, and we'll get the game going. The first thing you'll see is a screen that'll show just historic rivalry, and we'll be happening. All right, here we go. Starting the game in 3, 2, 1. Some people might have ads pull up, and that's okay. We'll do it. Joey, that's right. It is time for your weekly watch of this game. I love where your head's at on that. So, Pac, we're getting ready for the tip here on my screen. I've got the tonight's officials thing popping up, and that's going to be great. I'm going to pop up Joey's tweet here on the stream. I love what he's saying there. It's time for my weekly rewatch of the game. Great call, Joey. I love it. Right on, brother. Pac, where were you sitting in the stadium here?
So I'm sitting directly across Carolina's bench.
Okay.
About 3 rows up in the upper bowl. So
okay, nice.
And it was kind of nice. There's really not a bad seat in the arena, I felt like. But being up high was kind of neat because I could see some things from a distance that maybe I hadn't seen before. So that was kind of cool.
Yep. I had and so where the media seats were up behind the Duke fans. So I was right behind them on the other side on the baseline. So here we go. Now Duke wins the tip and has possession. Paolo Banchero goes right at Brady Manek there, and it was clear from the outset, Pac, that was kind of their goal was, hey, we're going to go right at Brady Manek, make Paolo Banchero defend him. The Tar Heels had approached their defensive assignments differently than they did that very first game where Banchero got Bacot in some very early foul trouble. What do you think about that defensive switch?
I think it was the right call. That first time we played them, Banchero got, like you mentioned, got Bacot in some foul trouble, and we just couldn't afford for that to happen. And so made the right decision to put Brady on him. And Brady, although not the most athletic guy in the world, did a really nice job on Banchero in this game and in the game that was played at Duke.
That's right.
Coach K's Cameron Indoor finale. So,
yes.
And Brady, I know Brady personally, which many of you know if you watch the show. Brady he would talk about it with me. He kind of took it personally. Obviously, Paolo was a guy that was highly touted by the NBA. So he was like, okay, this is a chance for me to step out here and guard him well and show what I can do for his own draft stock. Right. So he took that as kind of like a personal challenge.
A nice challenge. Yes, absolutely. I got some ads popping up on mine, so I've got about 15 seconds till we're back in game action. But on my stream had right after Banchero has missed his second shot And then Brady gets an offensive rebound and is fouled there. And so Carolina's going to get the ball back. And okay, so they're showing the replay of Manek getting fouled. I believe it was Banchero on the foul there. And so Carolina is about to inbound the ball. And I tell you, Pac, we're about to see the first bucket of the game. Anybody who had bets on Leaky Black three-pointer for the first points of this game better be filling out some lottery tickets, because I'll tell you what, that was not my thought. But it gave me, right out of the gate with Leaky hitting this three, I was like, this could be a good night for the Tar Heels if Leaky's going to knock down a couple from the perimeter. What were you thinking in that moment?
The exact same thing. When that shot went in, I can't even tell you. I mean, I had some beads that I got from Bourbon Street, and I was just swinging them around. Let's go! Because that shot was just huge. Yes. And it was kind of like, for one, it was confidence for Leaky, but it was a relief. Like, we scored the first of the game. I thought both teams looked a little nervous real early on, and so it was kind of like a weight lifted when that went through the net.
And I tell you, it wasn't – I feel like it's not just the players who were nervous. For me, in the building, there was a nervous energy. Usually there's this, like, crazy excitement in the building for something like this. But, like, it just felt like everyone realized in the moment how historic everything was, and realized, like, one of these teams is about to lose, and it's either going to end Coach K's career or Coach K is going to go to the national championship game in his last game. And either way, it's like – what is happening? Like, it still boggles my mind that this is the first time these two teams ever played in the NCAA tournament. Like, anytime I remember that, it's just like, what is happening?
Yeah, there was a lot at stake. I can honestly say, at least in my opinion and what I experienced, walking to the stadium for hotel, which was maybe a mile, give or take a little bit from the stadium, the Duke fans, they seemed a little bit more not on edge. Like, they were, as we were walking, they were talking smack. Matter of fact, there was a North Carolina fan standing right beside me, and there was a Duke fan just walked by and just knocked their cap off, just doing typical Duke fan stuff, So anyways, Carolina fans, and where I want to give us our props is, from what I saw, they seemed like we represented ourselves really well. Like, we were focused more on the game than we were talking trash, and there was nobody acting just totally ridiculous. So after we won the game, it felt really good, because those Duke fans were awfully quiet as we were leaving the arena.
That's right. Absolutely. Okay. Just quick update on where we're at. 16:50 left in the game on my screen. Leaky Black is at the left wing with the ball, drives, gets a pick from Bacot on Banchero, and misses a shot over the top of the rim. AJ Griffin back the other way and can't lay it home, but Mark Williams with the tip putback. Duke takes an early 4-3 lead with 16:30 to go. That's where we are tracking right now. What are you seeing early in this game from the Tar Heels, Pac? As Caleb Love misses another three there. That's something I want to point out, is we're going to notice, and then Brady misses a three right after that. Poor three-point shooting from both teams in this first half.
Yes. One thing that I'm noticing too is Duke is doing a pretty good job of actually trying to attack us off ball screens. Which is what I would do too. So it was the right decision. Trying to get Bacot involved and drawing some backside help, which is where you see that Williams is kind of getting some touches down low. But one thing that Carolina is doing phenomenally well is that was a sweep behind the back pass by Leaky. But Carolina rebounds
three there. Oh man! And then Bacot misses the putback. It's blocked, but he gets fouled. And let me just interrupt there real quick, Pac, and talk more about. By the way, folks, we are at the first under 16 media timeout. So 15:38, we're going to come back to some Bacot free throws if you're trying to catch up with where we are at together. That pass by Leaky, I think so many times we see passes like that where it's like just trying to show off. That was just like felt like a very natural in the flow of the game pass from Leaky. As a coach, are you okay? I know you don't want to see your players being too flashy, but are you okay with a play like that when it's just more natural?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And sometimes like making a play like that is, you can't teach that stuff. You can't coach that stuff. That's just basketball instincts. And so, and honestly, right there, it's the only way he could have gotten that pass there.
Absolutely.
So A lot of times
And
when
Bacot hits the first. Keep going.
Could you throw a chest pass? Could you throw a bounce pass? Okay, if you could, then why would you throw a behind the back pass? But in that instance, there was a defender there, and the only way he could get it was to wrap the ball around. So,
Yep.
I mean, as a coach, I would have been more than fine with that.
Yep.
Sometimes you just got to let your players make plays.
Absolutely. And that's what Hubert Davis is going to do. Bacot, by the way, misses the second free throw. Duke's back. Carolina and Duke tied at 4 with 15:20 left. And I want to put up this question that Joey just asked in our chat here, Pac. He says, is it just me or does it scare you when Leaky hits a shot early? Don't get me wrong. I love me some Leaky, but I find when he hits a shot early, he then shoots the ball nonstop and doesn't always hit. And this is a great point. I had said, like, I felt good about Leaky hitting a shot early, but Joey, I'm with you. Like, I'm thinking basketball games I've played in where I'm like, I've got like a very specific person in mind right now that I play basketball with a lot. And I want him to hit a three early because then I know he's going to keep shooting. And so, man, Joey, there is something to that for sure, especially if you're the opponent of like, hey, Leaky's going to think he's on. Let's step off of him and like let him keep going. Pac, where are you at on that thought process?
So to the flip side of that, just thinking from a coach's perspective, if I'm Duke, I'm saying, okay, just like many opponents do, we can provide help off of Leaky. Okay, so now Leaky hitting shots means we got to respect Leaky. And so by him doing that, that may open up the defense a little bit more. Now, one shot probably doesn't alter it, but as we know, he hits a couple in this game. And that does mean, okay, we got to start respecting him a little bit.
Yep.
And that opens things up for Bacot inside or for our guards when they attack. So, although I do agree, to an extent, sometimes the worst thing that can happen is for players to hit shots early, especially when they're non-shooters, and then they just jack them up all the time. But in this instance, I think it's a win for the Tar Heels.
Yeah, absolutely. 14:49 left. Bacot grabs a rebound, his second of the game, which is interesting because he's got 19 more to go before it's all said and done. And we just saw Theo John's first foul of the game. He's going to pick up a bunch in quick succession. Duke's already got 5 in the first half in the first 5 minutes of the game. There's a nice right wing pass from RJ Davis down in to Armando Bacot for the flush. And Carolina's on a little 6-0 run here, I believe it is. 5-0 run from down 4-3 to up 8-4. And so, Pat, what are you thinking about this early foul issues for Duke here?
Well, for one, earlier Brady was just being really physical with Mark Williams. Got him frustrated, got him to do something ignorant, and then picked up a foul, So stuff like that you love to see. But also, one of the things that really benefits Carolina is we rebound the ball incredibly well in this game. And that's where a lot of Duke's fouls are coming, is off of our second chance rebounds. So that's 2 huge signs for the Tar Heels early on. And, of course, having Mark Williams out means that there's not as much rim protection. And that they don't do as good a job guarding. Theo John is not as good of a perimeter defender as Mark Williams is. So when we draw him away from the basket, that certainly helps us.
That's right. And Carolina did win that rebounding battle 50-41. In fact, I believe, if I remember correctly, and I can pull it up while we're talking, there were only 3 games the entirety of last season where the Tar Heels were out rebounded, which is there's another Leaky 3 missed, kind of to your point, Joey Hinman. Love that. And so Carolina doing work that way. Also, we just had the first RJ Davis bucket of the game. And as we're going to see as this game wears on, RJ is going to be incredibly key for what the Tar Heels are trying to do. And a great reminder of what Pac has talked about a lot this offseason, that this in many ways is going to be RJ's team. And I would hear and listen to arguments that RJ is the most indispensable player on this team. Pac, for those who haven't been hearing you talk about that, speak a little bit about how impactful RJ was in this game that we're watching. By the way, we're at 13:15 left in the first half. And then what you think that means for the upcoming season.
Yeah, to me, RJ is just – I know Armando gets all the hype and he gets all the profile and he's kind of the big name. But to me, RJ runs the show. I've sat in on a couple practices I've seen, firsthand what kind of vocal leader he is just in practice. But, man, down the stretch in this NCAA tournament, what a coming out party for that young man. We're certainly not playing in this game or the next game without him. And one thing he does that we will point out as the game goes, every time Carolina needs a bucket, that man goes and gets one or creates one. And he's just been so crucial. And, what I think that means for the Tar Heels is that, he had his coming out party, and I think it's just going to continue on into this next season.
Yeah. Yep.
And still people are overlooking him. He comes out as the second team All-ACC behind Roach from Duke. And I'm sorry, but that young man is not better than RJ Davis, and it's not even close.
No.
So that's just more bulletin board material for RJ to continue to show people, how good he truly is.
That's right. There's a Caleb Love missed 3. Duke just scored a bucket. Theo John gets a dunk off an AJ Griffin assist, and then comes down and hits a 3 from Mr. Banchero with, ironically enough, a Jeremy Roach assist. And to your point, we're about to start seeing more of the RJ Davis show. Carolina, it says 11-10 on the screen, and so it's like, okay, we need a bucket. Double down on Bacot there, out to Caleb at the top, over to the right wing for RJ Davis, 3-pointer, and RJ Davis is doing exactly what you just talked about. Perfect timing there.
And that was a hand in his face too. That was
absolutely. It was a contested shot. Absolutely. For those of you tuning in with us, we're at 11:45 left in the first half. There's a Duke missed 3. Theo John looked like he stepped out of bounds there as he was rebounding it, but gets the dish to AJ Griffin for one of his few points on the night. And here comes RJ up the court, 13 all, 11:26 left. Sorry, Pac, you were about to say something.
I was just going to say something to notice right there was how Carolina went under that screen and just allowed Paolo to shoot that 3.
Yep.
Love that decision. For one, Paolo's really good at getting to the lane and creating for his team and finishing. He's really good at drawing fouls. His weakness is shooting. I like that by Carolina. Just say, hey, let's get under. Let's keep him in front and force him to hit tough shots.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. By the way, we are at the under 12 timeout. It's 11:12 on the clock, 14-13 Carolina. The ball went out of bounds right going into the break there, and it is going to be Duke's ball right here coming up. Joey, you're good, man. Joey says not trying to commandeer the chat, but I agree that RJ is not the best player on the team, but he is the most important, and that's a good distinction to make there coming into this season. Much like my favorite point guard in recent history, Mr. Butter, Kendall Marshall. Love that.
K Butter, baby.
K Butter.
That guy had some of the craziest, just vision, man. I mean, I know y'all know that, but K Butter's vision and just the way he could put spin on the ball and the way he could find people and hit them on a dime in transition.
Yes.
He was so stinking good at that. Man, he really developed as a shooter in his time at Chapel Hill, too.
Got much better. I was wrong there. That was Carolina's ball coming out of the break. Armando just called for a moving screen there, and so Duke will bring it back the other way. 11:05 left on the clock. Little dribble handoff to RJ coming around the corner, and then he does shuffle in to Keels there. It looks like it's one of those close ones that I feel like sometimes gets called and sometimes gets left, but
yeah. You'll see here later in the game too. We actually get away with several moving screens. And part
on dribble handoff action?
Yes, a couple on dribble handoff. Leaky sets one, down the stretch. That's essentially it should have been probably called a moving screen, but we'll take the fact that it wasn't. And so we get away with a couple of them. But yeah, it's a really inconsistent call, actually.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times people are like, and I agree with it, actually, this is the Final Four. Let's let them play. So I'm fine with that.
Styles into the game for the first time. He's in for Armando after he picked up that offensive foul. Had a pitch ahead, but is blocked from behind. And then Brady just stepped out on the corners. He was setting up for a 3 coming right out of a missed 3-pointer from AJ Griffin, who, man, let's just talk. I mean, now's a good moment to talk about it. 10:27 left in the first half, by the way. Heels up 14-13 Duke ball. AJ Griffin went absolutely off in the game in Chapel Hill in the Dean Dome, Pac, and along with Banchero. I mean, that game was essentially over by the first media timeout. And then we had all those defensive switches. Oh, Theo John just abused Brady in the post there. Duke up 15-14, 10:08 left. But then in the game in Cameron and then in this game, AJ Griffin is shut down by Leaky. Now I know Leaky doesn't guard him the whole game. RJ hits a floater with Trevor Keels riding up on his legs from behind. That probably should have been a foul. Banchero, a dunk coming quickly back the other way, 17-16 Duke. Pac, what is it that you as a coach see from Leaky that he just does so well to stop somebody like AJ Griffin, who wound up becoming, where was he? The 16th pick in the draft last year. Yeah. What is it he does so well?
Well, he's veteran. He's mature. He has a high IQ. So one thing he does, and this is also credit to our coaching staff, at this level, they're reading tendencies a lot. And they're saying an example of that would be, now this is an easy example, but what they're saying is, hey, maybe AJ Griffin is he likes to go right 2 dribbles and spin back to his left, or hey, he catches it and shoots it better going to the left side of the floor than he does the right. So they're looking at all his tendencies. They're putting it on a scouting report, and Leaky, being the veteran that he is, man, he understands it. He gets it and he guards it so well. And one thing that he does exceptionally well is he never gambles. He doesn't take himself out of the play. He just stays solid. He stays consistent. He closes out well. He stays in front and forces people to hit shots over his length. And that, I mean, he's just solid. Makes him so good.
What happens when you gamble on defense? What does that do to the other 4 players on the court?
Well, essentially, I mean, for 2 to 3 seconds, your team's playing 5-on-4. So it's an advantage for the offense when you take yourself out of the play, and they're able to go, a lot of times, able to go capitalize on it. Or if they shoot quickly, that's another body away from the rim. So there's just more a higher percentage of second chance points or offensive rebounds. So it really puts your team in a bind. And I see that Todd on here, he made a comment.
Yeah, I was going to say, you talk about that. Let me put up his chat post while you're talking about it.
Yeah. So Todd, to answer your question, I 100% agree. I think Jackie, from what I picked up in games and even at practice when I was there, Jackie and Leaky have a very close relationship. I think because they went through similar things, right? Like Jackie wasn't a huge offensive threat. Well, neither was Leaky, but they both were really good defensively. And so I think that there's a connection there. There's a relationship there. And I think that Jackie has definitely helped improve him as a person and as a defender.
Yes. Yeah. And then Todd followed up with that, and let me post it, is that what a great reminder that Leaky has just been through so much in what is now going to be his 5th year in Chapel Hill of, hearing he's not a good enough offensive player, all these things. And Jackie just keeps reminding him, like, buddy, I don't care what you do on the floor, any of that stuff. I love who you are, Rayshawn Malik Black. And that's what matters. And I think that freedom that you have to just be a normal human being is such a win mentally. And so another great point there, Todd, from you. All right, let me catch you up. We're at 7:51 on the game. Duke leads 21-18, and to the free throw line for a couple free throws. Can't see who it's Jeremy Roach on the line, makes the first there. Duke 22-18. So let me catch us up here. 22-18. Puff Johnson's into the game now for the first time. We're under halfway in the first half. Duke's stretching out one of these, like, we've had these moments where it's like, I don't know, Roach misses his second there, rebound down, RJ Davis coming up with the ball. But Pac, as we know, Jeremy Roach is about to get a steal. There it is. It happens. Duke comes up and gets a bucket from Wendell Moore. Duke's up 6 all of a sudden. And we know how this Amy, what's up? Glad you're here. We are at 7:24. 3, 2, 1. Hop on in with us. Duke's up 24-18. Carolina needs a bucket right here, Pac, because Duke does this several times in the game where they start to pull away a little bit. And then and there it is from Leaky. Right, a nice little shot in the lane from Armando. Leaky's right there on the other side of the glass for the putback. And man, for all the talk about his defense, there he is just doing the things a team needs to help win a game and to close a gap that Duke has just opened up a little bit.
Yeah, and once again, that was the Tar Heels on the offensive glass, which, like I said earlier, we've done just a fantastic job to this point and throughout the game of crashing the glass and getting second chance points.
Yep. Followed by a nice rebound there from Armando. And Caleb Love 3 from the left wing. No. Rebound. Banchero Puff just got landed on his booty down under the basket. Jeremy Roach back the other way. Blocked by Armando. Out of bounds ball to Duke with 6:21 to go. And so, man, you love to see Armando. Even remember, folks, it's not just in this game where he tweaks his ankle. He's already a little bit banged up. And so to see what he's doing there, really good, really insane stuff. Nice reverse layup, seeing the replay there from Mr. Wendell Moore Jr. Caleb out of the game, and it looks like it is Brady back in for him. So the 5 on the floor right now for the Tar Heels. RJ, Leaky, Brady, Puff Johnson, and Bacot. Here comes RJ on the right wing, off a screen from Bacot all the way down the lane. Shot's no good, but he is fouled. There's another one on Theo John. That is his second. And as we know, Duke's going to – oh, man, RJ's down. Man, there's some of those moments. He's such a little thanks. That's good to know, Joey. Thanks for letting us know about the mic issues there. RJ's such a little guy that sometimes you really worry about some of these hits he takes, but he's such a – I mean, he's got that New York mentality, as we know, and he's going to be all right.
He's a tough kid. There's no doubt.
All right, makes the first 24-21 Duke, 6:07. Nails at the free throw line. That's right. And so a lot of times when a player picks up a second foul in the first half, they're going to get yanked right out. Coach K doesn't always do that. He'll often trust tough little nugget is right, Amy. Classic Coach Wooden's line there. But Coach K doesn't take out Theo John here. And just lets him keep going. I think it says about what we're trying to do to protect Mark Williams, who I believe already has his second foul at this point, and keep going. All right, Pac is hopping out of the chat for a second. He's going to try to come back in. Let me set you right. Here comes Caleb back into the game. RJ takes a seat. 5:54 left. Duke leading 24-22. RJ has picked up his second foul, so going to the bench with 12 points and that second foul. As we've been talking about, RJ has been really the one hitting shots and keeping the team in it. There's another missed three-pointer from A.J. Griffin. And Carolina comes back the other way. Leaky on the right wing, passes to Bacot in the middle, tries to bull rush his way, and the ball is out of bounds to the Tar Heels. All right. 24-22 Duke, 5:32 left in the first half. Carolina has been doing a lot of what they need to do, but is just not shooting the ball well. Outside really of RJ, missing a lot of three-pointers, and just going to try to stay connected here down the stretch. We got the starters in plus Puff Johnson in for RJ. Bacot bullies his way in. No tip, no kick out to Leaky up top. Drives right lane and almost gets a tough runner. Bacot rebound, puts it up. No, but there is another foul. 5:17 left. That is Theo John's third foul. And once again, we just talked about Coach K leaving John out there with his second foul. The same is going to be true here of his third foul. They're going to leave Theo John in. And for those who have watched and rewatched this game over and over, you know that he picks up a fourth foul here just a little bit later and then is going to have to come out. So we've got Armando at the line, 5:17 left, makes the first, almost pops out, but drops down 24-23 Blue Devils. And so sorry, folks, that Pac is gone. He's working his way back in. Just having, I think, maybe some internet troubles on his side of things. All right, here comes Bacot's second free throw, 5:17 left. It's up, and it is good right through the net. We're all knotted up, 24 all, 5:15 left in the first half. And I don't know about all of you who are watching, but at this point, I'm starting to get the energy in the building is very nervous. Hard to know how to feel, honestly, at this point. But you're just kind of trusting that Carolina is going to stay connected. And there is a dunk for Theo John. Duke takes now a 26-24 lead. Here comes Caleb Love back the other way with 4:50 left on the clock. And so, things have really bogged down for these two strong offensive units. We're only seeing 26, 25 points here, 16 minutes into the first half. Here comes Caleb, floater in the lane. Very nice, 26 all right there. Hey, Pac, you doing good?
I'm back, yeah. So to let y'all know, this Oklahoma wind is going nuts right now. And I guess it's messing with the Wi-Fi. That's why I was out for a second. I apologize.
You're all good, man. Amy is right. Everyone is a savage until you meet one. We all know the backstory on that. If you don't look it up, it is a fun one. Just crossed under the 4-minute mark. There's a foul on Bacot going back the other way. 28-26, Duke with 3:54 left. That's going to take us to the under 4 media timeout. Actually, forgive me, I'm wrong there. That foul is actually on Theo John, which is now his fourth. So he's going to have to come back out with Trevor Keels coming back in. Duke, you see the graphic on the screen there. Duke's leading the points in the paint 22-8 and the bench points 12-0. We'll talk about it more in the second half when Carolina finally gets some, but Carolina only has 2 bench points in the entire game. We'll save that conversation for just a minute. While we got a little bit of a break in the action, let me remind you that this episode is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy, the easiest place to spice up your college football season. It's easy to get started and easy to play while you watch your favorite team. I've created my own account with Underdog, and while Carolina's not playing this weekend, which is why we're doing this rewatch in the first place, I'll be looking around for some other over-under action to fill out my pick'em slip. You can go to Underdog to make your own picks just like me. Easy to play and available in over 30 states. Just pick between 2 and 5 players across any team, not just your team, and decide if they will finish higher or lower. It's one of the easiest fantasy games to play out there, and you can win cold hard cash in a single game. Sign up with the promo code LOCKEDON, all one word, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. Deposit $100, get $100 free. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com or find the Underdog Fantasy app in the App Store or Google Play Store. Again, that's Underdog Fantasy, promo code LOCKEDON, all one word. Get in on the college football pick'em action today. All right, Pac, so we've got a review going on right now. What is it they're trying to look for?
To be honest with you, I'm trying to find my spot. No, I'm trying to get caught back up from the Wi-Fi.
You're great. So, Pac, no, you're good. Pac had to jump out with some Wi-Fi. Theo John was guarding Bacot in the post. There, it looked like maybe Bacot had brung his elbow around there and maybe was going to get called for it, but John had got his arm in and around on Bacot, and so they determined there was no foul play, but Bacot misses the front end of the 1-1 rebound off the side to A.J. Griffin. Wendell Moore Jr. coming up with the ball to Keels back up front to Roach, directing traffic with Caleb Love on him across to Wendell Moore with Brady Manek on him, who stopped. Again, there's Brady doing work defensively again, we've talked so much about how he is not this elite defender, but he does what he needs to do throughout this game. There's another missed three from Duke, rebound down to Bacot. But anyway, Manek doing the things he needs to do to stay in front of defenders. And right now he's got AJ Griffin on him. Cut off and pass, trying to get it across the lane, and is stolen by Duke. Trevor Keels looked like he traveled there, but gets the bucket. Duke pushes ahead again, 30-26 with 3 minutes left in the first half. And this is one of those moments. Duke is known for going on these patented runs right at the end of a half or at the end of the game. And so Carolina has to stay connected here. Puff Johnson gets a pass to Bacot in the post, to Brady up top. Another missed three for the Tar Heels. Rebound down to Jeremy Roach. Here comes Banchero. No, I'm sorry, that's Wendell Moore, but it's blocked, and a foul is called on the Tar Heels. 2:36 left in the first half. That foul was on Bacot, and that is his second of the game. Duke up 30-26. Pac, how you doing? You caught up? You found your spot?
I'm good. Yep, I'm so sorry about that.
You're all good. All right, we're at 2:36. Wendell Moore to the line. Duke up 30-26 right now. Makes the first. So Duke is once again trying to push out to that 6-point lead. I just got an ad from YouTube right here before the second free throw. Gonna have to skip those as quickly as I can.
Gotta love those YouTube ads.
Oh man. Yes, right. And Amy says it. I've posted her thing in the chat here. I remember how nervous I was during the game. Nice to watch it when you're not pulling your hair out because you know the answer. Yeah, this is the second Saturday in a row where we've had some potential hair pulling out moments against the Duke athletics team. We all remember the football game last week and how stressful that was. But as Pac told me earlier today, Duke did their work on the grid. Pac's feed might be a little bit behind there still. Carolina has the ball up top. Caleb Love, 2:15, drive and gets a huge layup to bring Carolina back within 3, 2:10 left there. Here comes Roach across the half court with just over 2 minutes to go before halftime. Man, we're all getting a little bit nervous here as Roach drives on RJ Davis. No dice, rebound down to Davis, who pushes ahead past everybody. Pull-up jumper, no good. Rebound out of bounds. No. Oh, yes. Keels is out of bounds trying to save it. Carolina ball under the basket with 1:45 to go. Carolina still down 3, 31-28. So, Pac, what do the Tar Heels need to do here in this last minute 45 before halftime to not let Duke take some momentum into the locker room?
Well, the last, you mentioned it kind of earlier about how Duke's kind of the runs right before halftime and stuff like that. But it's really important. The first 4 minutes of the second half, we call those the middle eight. That's a crucial 8 minutes. Sometimes if you win that middle eight, you win the game. But the recipe is no turnover, taking the right shots, and then obviously force it in. So we
and of course on cue, Banchero. Go ahead.
Yeah, Banchero on cue with 3, but we're also doing a good job on our end of getting to the rim. Caleb attacking right now, and if you'll notice, just kind of to half, but obviously Caleb has a really big second half. But what's he doing right now to kind of get him going?
He's getting downhill. Yep. That's right. Yeah, I mean, Caleb, as we know, listen, when Caleb finishes with 20 or more points in his career, the Tar Heels are 15-0. And at the half, he's got points. And so you're like, Caleb, you got to get going. But as we know, the little homie from St. Louis winds up with 28 points in this game. So just an absolute monster of a second half coming, as you said there, Pac. And now after Banchero's 3 to put Duke back up 6, which matches if I'm not mistaken, their largest lead of the game. Then we get that RJ Davis pull up right around the free throw line to come back within 4. A steal, a huge steal from Puff Johnson, one of 2 really important things he did in this game. And then that leads to that Caleb run out you talked about. Missed 3-pointer right there from AJ Griffin, who once again had a rough game, finished the entire game with just 6 points. And so ball back to Carolina. Puff checks out, and who is coming in for him? RJ's coming back in for him. Justin McCoy is also in the game, by the way, for the first time, and I believe the only time in this game. I don't think he gets into the second half at all. Yeah. So we've got the starters minus Bacot plus Justin. Sorry, go ahead.
Davis is trying to alleviate some unneeded foul trouble on Bacot game. So
that's right.
Bacot's sitting at 2 right now. So
yes, he is.
He trusts McCoy even to keep Bacot from picking up that third.
Yeah, absolutely. And there we go. Brady Manek drives on Wendell Moore. Looks like he got fouled in the process, but not called. Gets a bucket. We're knotted up at 34 with 20 ticks left before the half. Excuse me, folks. I'm going to mute my mic for just a second and cough.
McCoy hedges really well on that screen. And
that's a great hedge there.
It was
nice. And then nice. I thought he was vertical on that defense, but Roach, was that Roach there? I had looked away for just a second. Roach gets a bucket, make it 36-34 with 3 seconds left on the game clock. He's going to get a free throw as well. And Pac, talk about the momentum that this is going to give the Blue Devils going into the locker room.
A lead into halftime is desirable. But I think what it really did was fire Coach Davis. You could see his demeanor on the sideline. He was like, I can't wait to get to halftime. And
yes. Now, credit to the Tar Heels who'd gotten down 6 and then just 3 2-point buckets, one each from RJ, Caleb, and Brady there to get it tied. Although Roach did get that last one, but just to even get back to where they were within 3 there heading into the locker room is big time and really important. So let's look at some of these first half numbers. Neither team shot well from deep in the first half. The Tar Heels were 3 for 13 from deep. Duke is 2 from 12 for deep. And something important I remember saying, by the way, on screen, Tracy Wolfson is interviewing Coach K. You see B-Rob in the background walking behind them. One of the things I had said to some people sitting around me, Pac, is, listen, if either of these teams can get going from 3 in the second half, that's probably the team that's going to win this basketball game. And this isn't a spoiler alert because we know how it turned out. But Duke was 3 for 10 in the second half from 3, while the Tar Heels were 7 of 13. And so ultimately, Carolina was able to turn things around from deep in the second half. And I think that's a big part of why they win this ball game.
So, Isaac, what, in your opinion, I'm just curious what your thoughts are. What did you think was in the arena?
At halftime specifically?
Yeah.
Man, at halftime, I think there's this feeling of neither team has played incredibly well. By the way, on screen, we've got the stats, the halftime stats showing up. And so it felt like neither team had played incredibly well. It felt like, man, Carolina's been able to get some foul trouble on Duke. Theo John, we know, has 4 fouls at this point. Carolina's got a couple guys with 2. But I'm feeling like, personally, I was feeling the Tar Heels are right in this, but Duke has some momentum right now and feels like Carolina is like the little brother trying to hang on at this point. And I think that's what made me nervous is Carolina going to be able to find what helped them so much in the second half at Cameron? And so I honestly was not too terribly hopeful for the second half. What about you?
It felt like, so I was mostly surrounded by Tar Heels, but there were reasonable Duke fans, I might add, which is few and far between. The kind of the vibe was that both of us were both nervous, right? Like, okay, this game is close, it's tight, it's going to live up to the high ground. The one that we root for are going to come out on top or not. Mistake in this game, I felt right. like almost like it was just so much tension and nerve. I'll admit I had butterflies in my stomach. I was worried to death about the second half, but also because of the guys that we were going to put out on the floor. But
yeah,
it was certainly.
Yes, absolutely. And so, by the way, if you're watching, it's 19:29 left in the second half. Mark Williams gets a dunk to put Duke up now by 5 and a 2-0 run to start the second half. And you really felt, with what everything Pac and I had just been talking about how the feeling in the building was at halftime, you really felt like if Carolina's going to win this game, oh my word, that is such a wow. Mark Williams with a flop there with 19:07 left. Bacot called for his third. So here's how you're feeling. The Tar Heels are already down 5. Bacot picks up his third foul right here. Less than a minute into the second half. And you're like, man, I don't know what's going to happen. Not to mention, we're about to see Duke come down. Paolo Banchero's going to get a bucket. Duke start the half 4-0 run and is now up 7. And you're like, man, like Brady, bad closeout right there, stood upright. We got 18 minutes, more than 18 minutes left in this game. And if the Tar Heels want to stay connected, they're going to have to start doing something with Duke now having the largest lead of the game. And what happens? Nothing yet. RJ Davis drives. Nice ball kept alive. Caleb Love, 3 from the right wing. And there it is, the beginning of Caleb being off and running in the second half. Tar Heels back within 4 at 41-37.
And once again, huge second chance points right there. Offensive rebound and a kick out for Caleb Love to get that 3. So
that's right.
He turned out to be huge in this game.
Yep. And the second chance points were very close. But Carolina did lead that category 22-17 by the end of the game. Now here come the Tar Heels back the other way. Mark Williams picks up the loose ball, and though the Tar Heels got the stop, you were kind of hopeful there, like, oh man, get that Caleb Love 3, got to stop, and now a chance to pull even closer. But Duke immediately gets the ball back.
Yeah.
Nice help side defense from Leaky there. Wendell Moore misses. Rebound Bacot out. Caleb coming up top. Pulls up for a 3 from the left wing. Buckets. Back-to-back 3s from Caleb Love. Tar Heels, who had just a second ago looked like they might be losing touch, are now down just 1 with 17-18 left in the game. How huge were those 2 3-pointers?
Oh, huge. And at that point in time, I was sitting in the stands going bang, 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 bang.
All right. And now
huge.
Banchero says, all right, fine. I'm going to start doing what I do, the future number 1 pick in the NBA draft. And Brady, who just a couple possessions ago had looked not good at all defensively on Banchero. And there's the Brady Manek 3 from the corner. Carolina goes from down 7 to all of a sudden up 2. But it's Brady Manek's defense that set all that up, right? Staying in front of Banchero right there, leading to a run out. Brady cuts through the lane down to the right corner, the same spot he was trying to get to, by the way, in the national championship game at the very end. And now the Tar Heels are ahead. A quick 9-0 spurt in under 2 minutes. A steal for the Tar Heels. RJ ahead to Caleb Love. Cuts through the lane. Layup. 11-0 run for the Tar Heels. All of a sudden, down 7 to up 4. What on earth has just changed this? Amy is right. Bang, bang. Pac, what sets the tone here? How does this happen?
Well, hitting shots. I mean, when you're hitting shots, it affects everything. It affects the other team's morale. It's a lot easier to to play defense, and so hitting shots just is a world of difference for your team. And then we're hitting a bunch of them. Also, if you'll notice, like we hit 3 threes and then we just got 2 layups. So opens up the defense is just huge.
Yeah. That's right. Caleb had 8 of those 11 points. Coming back from commercial, we see Coach Williams, and it's crazy. I don't know if those of you watching, if you saw behind him, it's Coach Williams. Literally right behind him is Anton Jameson. Literally right behind him is Tyler Hansborough. I walked up that aisle at one point, and I was just like, holy cow. There's another layup from Caleb Love in the lane. Now 47-41 Heels. That is a 13-0 run over the course of just a couple minutes. And nice point, Todd. Good rebounding. Duke tips out to Trevor Keels, who ends the Carolina run with a 3 off an offensive rebound for Duke there. And so now we get to 47-44, 15 and a half to go. RJ running some clock up top, gets a screen and down to the corner, back to RJ on the right wing with Wendell Moore on him, pulls up, top of the key. No, rebound down to Mark Williams. Duke's ball down 3, 15-15 left. Now, one thing to keep your eyes on, folks, as this second half goes, you might recall the Iron 5 nickname really came from the second half of the game in Cameron Indoor Stadium, where literally these 5 guys played the entire second half. Just keep your eyes on when Carolina's first substitution in this second half comes, because that will be an interesting talking point for us. Banchero fouled coming down the lane. We are into the under 16 media timeout with Banchero free throws coming up right after the break. So, Pac, we had this good shooting coming out of the first half. I want to go back to what you said about getting to the lane. You talked about how important that is, about just like if you're struggling from outside, get there, see the ball go through the basket. You see, before you answer that question, we got a graphic appearing on screen. UNC or Duke have been in 7 of the last 14 Final Fours. What a crazy thing. ACC, you love to see it. Banchero misses the first free throw. We're at 14:53. What's up, Matthew? Glad you're here. We are at 14:53 left in the second half. Pac, why is it so important for basketball players to get to the rim? Why is that helpful?
Well, it's just good to see it build confidence, right? So, if you've been attacking and you get a couple easy throw line and knock those down, you get that confidence. You start to get your flow. You start to get your feel. And, hey, I'm starting to shooting the ball so much more. We particularly, like, sometimes he struggles early in games, and then Coach Davis will do getting him to the rim, and then he'll take off and hit a couple big shots. But what kind of undervalued, if you will, is the fact that he got to the rim, and got himself going.
Yep, absolutely. There is a foul, Caleb Love foul underneath, trying to draw a charge on Jeremy Roach, but doesn't get the benefit of the doubt there. And so Duke ball underneath with 14:27, and the Tar Heels up by 2, 47-45. Wendell Moore attacks the middle on Caleb Love. Nothing doing. Armando gets poked in the eye here and going to call it. So there's another foul on Mark Williams. That's his third. That's very true, Todd. Todd says, and ones help cut leads to that. Man, and we talked about Tyler Hansborough just a second ago. Man, he's who I think of more than anybody else, of just getting ugly shots to fall while getting fouled in the progress, getting to the line, and doing a lot of that. And as we know, is one of the most prolific free throw shooters in not just Carolina history, but in ACC and NCAA history. Bad pass leads to a Wendell Moore run out, blocked by Leaky, but there was a foul on the drive. Called on Brady underneath there. With that foul on Brady, Pac, I know, you've just getting to hang out with Brady and his family quite a bit weekend. Any fun Brady tidbits to share at this point?
Well, like one thing that Brady is awesome at, and we all know this, is shot, right? Well, if you'll notice, a three he's already in the line. He actually, when he catches it, his heels never touch the ground. Like, catch it, his heels are off the ground, fire it up. That's how quick he's getting rid of it, and he's incredibly impressive. So that, and just, if you around there too, they're on the front row, they go nuts, not just for him, but for the whole team. And that's one thing that I got to experience kind of, is just how all those parents and all those fans close, and how they root for each other's kids. It's really cool. It really is one big Carolina family.
Man, and that's absolutely. And I know that we've both had the chance to meet a lot of those parents, and can point to that as well. All right. I just had an ad on my screen. Caleb Love drives, misses, but again, second chance points. Bacot is there to clean it up. Duke inbounding right in front of their bench, 49-47 heels with 12:57 left in the game. Wendell Moore drives on Bacot. Nothing doing, but Mark Williams there for the tip slam. Tie game, 12:50 left. And at this point, I'm starting to get the feeling like, man, this game is going to come down to it, right? Even though there's more than a quarter of the game left, you just know it's going to be one of those games where somebody's going to have to make some kind of plays down the stretch. It's not that one team is going to lose this game. One of the teams is going to have to win this game. And we know that's exactly what the Tar Heels do. Bad pass from Leaky there. Wendell Moore run out. Nice finish with the left hand. And Duke goes up to 51-49. And I tell you, not feeling so great about where things are at right now.
Just when you start to not feeling so good about it. And
what do? You find Leaky Black on the right wing for his second three of the game. Tar Heels back on top, under 12 to go. You see the bench, Puff Johnson with some feels going on. 52-51. That is the 10th lead change of the game. 7 ties at this point. Duke answers right back, and they are now back up 1 at 53-52. That was Wendell Moore in the paint there. RJ up top, switch, gets Paolo Banchero on him. That's right, Amy. Leaky 3, you know it. RJ driving on Banchero, steps back, nothing doing. Brady in the corner. Gosh, that is an unbelievable shot from Brady Manek. 11-13 to go. Heels back on top, 55-53. Just trading blows. This same Tar Heels team that couldn't buy a three-pointer in the first half is now just raining them. 5 of 6 at this point, while Duke is just 1 of 2. And so Carolina is way on top. Banchero just bullies his way in there on Manek, and we are once again tied at 55. All Duke takes a 30-second timeout. It's a great time for me to read to us another ad. And that ad is going to be about BetOnline. BetOnline is your #1 source for football betting info this season. Find all the latest player developments, team matchups, news, podcasts, and in-depth articles and analysis on every game you can find. Tar Heels now have odds to win the national championship. It's only 125-1. Hey, but the Tar Heels matter enough to have odds created for them. They're the 14th best odds to win the national championship, according to BetOnline. As always, BetOnline remains your continued source for all your sports wagering info, with live betting and up-to-the-minute scores on every sport out there. The easiest way to check in on all your favorite games and events, including MLB, MMA, boxing, and golf. So head to BetOnline or use your device to learn more about all the trends in action. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, and as Pac had been talking about, we just saw that Manek three-pointer where he had his heels up so that he wouldn't touch the line. And we saw some great replays of it. Heels up 57, 55 off a great putback. Another second chance bucket from Armando Bacot. Saves the ball under his own basket, which is a cardinal sin. We'll ask Pac about that in just a second. Right back to Bacot, goes up for it, and in the process draws Mark Williams' fourth foul. So it's a double whammy for Duke based on a play, quite frankly, from Bacot. Bacot makes the free throw, heels up 58-55. Pac, obviously you as a coach, I'm sure, preach this, but why is it such an issue to save the ball right under your own basket?
Well, to the other end of the floor, which would be your end, it's a gamble, right? Because essentially, you're going out of the way to save it. So you're playing 4-on-5 for a period of time. Team an advantage if they come up with the basketball. So it's not worth that gamble because especially those 2 points are going to prove to be a pretty big deal.
Yes, they absolutely are. Not to mention the fourth foul on Mark Williams. Now, Bacot tries to come back at it again on the other side. Brady plays some great walling him off defense. Carolina gets another offensive rebound. Caleb Love bucket 60-55 heels. I believe at this point that's the biggest lead in the game for North Carolina at 5. Bacot 3 from the left wing, nothing doing. Rebound down to Love. 9:25 left in the second half. Caleb still with the ball, pulls back for a 3. No. Bacot tries to keep it alive, but Wendell Moore comes out with it. Trevor Keels gets into the lane. Boy, he is just steamrolling. He's a big old bowling ball guard. Gets to the bucket, 60-50 Tar Heels, and we know that Keels was another one of these draft picks for Duke, who had 4 first-round picks, plus Keels, who went in the second round of the 2022 NBA draft. And man, so you think about that. Carolina had nobody drafted off of this team, while Duke has 5 NBA draft picks out here, while Duke has 4, but in the first 26 picks of the draft. Pretty crazy. Here comes RJ Davis back the other way. 8:30 left. Baseline jumper is good. Heels back in front by 5, 62-57 with 8:25 to go.
And to your point on that, Isaac, and I know just how important it is to have veteran leadership and guys that stick with it. It wins come March, and Duke can talk all they want about we win when it matters, and I think a lot of that is due to just the fact that our guys stick around and the veteran experience that they bring to the table.
That's right. Okay, we are now under 8 minutes. Remember, I told you to keep your eye on the substitution patterns. The Iron 5 are all still in the game. No, Brady is upset about something on screen. The Iron 5 are all still in the game. No one has subbed out in the first 12 minutes. And at this point, I'm thinking, man, Coach Davis is going to ride the Iron 5 yet again in the second half of this Final Four game. As we know, that's not going to be able to happen once Armando tweaks his ankle in about 3 minutes of game action. But for the first nearly 15 minutes, it is your Iron 5 who Coach Davis is riding here.
Yeah, Brady. So, you mentioned he was upset there. I felt, and I think a lot of Tar Heel Nation and Coach Davis felt like the refs were really edged there in the second half with the early foul count. And so he went and had a conversation. Basically just said, hey, I think it was Roger Ayers that he was talking. He basically said, hey, man, this guy is screwed. He's talking about another official. He didn't tell me which one it was. Roger Ayers looked at Brady and told Brady, he said, trust me. Just trust, kind of made eye contact with him. He said, okay. And I share that to say these officials have had all these guys before. So there's a relationship that's built. Brady being a fifth-year player, he's had that relationship with Roger, and Roger's also the same guy that down the stretch made a couple crucial calls, and so these relationships and things like that, they matter. They matter, and how these kids conduct themselves and treat the officials, I think, goes in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's such a good story and a great behind the scenes thing about the interplay between, we see so much with the coaches and the officials, but this is a great thing to hear more about the players and the officials. You think about the classic Joel Berry and TV Teddy stories from a couple years ago. There is a throwaway from Caleb Love out to Jeremy Roach, who misses the wide open layup, but Trevor Keels puts it right back. And all of a sudden, Duke is back on top, 63-62, with 7:02 to play. And like I had said, Carolina took a little bit of a lead, got out there, but man, this just felt like one of those games where both teams are going to just keep trading punches back and forth. And you hate to see it. Here's Trevor Keels at the line, up 63-62. No, Bacot rebound, and here come the Tar Heels with right at 7 minutes to go, down by 1. And oh, by the way, RJ Davis, who has been, especially in the first half, the most important player for this team, now has 4 fouls. And coach is going to stay with him. There's Caleb cutting down the lane, slicing through the defense for a layup. Heels back on top by 1. AJ Griffin is fouled in the act of shooting there by Leaky Black. That's his second, team 8th. And so,
Caleb there.
Pac, as we know, RJ stays in this game. He stays in the game, doesn't foul out. How hard is it? Man, you're right, Matthew. That Caleb Love finger roll is a thing of beauty right there. How difficult is it to stay in a game? I mean, you got 7 minutes left at the point when he picks up that 4th foul. How hard is it to still matter without just being a defensive liability?
That's a block, especially because any coaching staff worth their own salt is going to attack. Let's ball screen him to death. Let's create some isolation situations and let his man get. RJ's got to find a way to balance, being effective defensively without fouling out because of the floor. And Coach Davis has got to find a way to kind of hide him, So do a pretty good job of that. And RJ does a really good job of balancing that. But that's block.
Yeah, man. That's so good. Okay. So Caleb is driving. Trevor Keels reaches around, knocks the ball off his thigh. It's one of those gamble plays you were talking about earlier where you'd really love to see him not get beat if you're Coach K, but it ends up working out for the Blue Devils in this instance. Wendell Moore brings the ball back up with Duke leading by 1. Only 1 turnover. We just saw that graphic. Nice block from Brady there. RJ Davis comes down with it. Only 1 turnover this half for the Blue Devils, while the Heels have 6. You'd love to be a little more consistent with the ball. Nice pass from Leaky out to Caleb on the left wing, down to Bacot in the post, guarded by Banchero. And that is a foul on Banchero, his first of the game with 5:48 left. Remember, we talked about the free throw discrepancy. That ball is definitely still on the way up. That's a good no goaltend call there by the refs. Banchero just picked up his first foul of the game. He's about to get another one in 3 seconds more of game action. Talking about foul, staying out of foul trouble there. Todd reminds us, I love this, Ed Cota literally never fouled out of a game in his entire Tar Heel career. That is something that is amazing to me. Nice
I don't
reminder.
think I knew that.
Yeah, man.
And also, just a side note, Coach Davis has been working these officials hard. When Banchero finally picked up those 2 fouls, Coach HD and I think is finally because he got them to blow the whistle in Carolina's favor.
All right. Bacot to the line, makes the first Now we are back to I lost my spot. 65 all here in the game action with 5:45 left in the game. We only got about 30 seconds more of game action before Armando hurts his ankle here. So just for those of you that are a little bit queasy, maybe you don't want to keep watching. But once again, we are 14 and a half minutes into the game, into the second half. No substitutions yet for the Tar Heels. And there, man, at first, okay, there goes Armando off the baseline. Looked to me at first, I was nervous that Leaky was the one that was hurt. And in fact, he's been overlooking at his leg there. And now we see Armando sprawled out back behind the stanchion. Clearly something is wrong with his right leg. The other four players are all standing around him. And so Pac, what happened in this moment that you noticed? All right, there we see Armando and Leaky getting tangled up. So it's his own teammate. And you see another replay here. Armando just steps on Leaky's right foot, on the step through. And it's just one of those where it just about right angles, almost 90 degrees bent over down to the side there. And so have you ever had an ankle injury of this type?
Fortunately, no, I have not. But I've had, and man, let me tell you, he's a tough sucker because I would say a tough little nugget or big nugget because he's not little. That's a tough thing to bounce back from, because once you roll that ankle, especially when you're on that side like that, the swelling is gonna hit quick, and the pain. So probably what I'm gonna guess that they did, because we see here in the locker room, I'm gonna guess they kind of maybe gave him a couple ibuprofen to help with that swelling. If it wasn't already taped, maybe they tape it down to help with that swelling and let him come back. But there's no doubt.
And it's already taped. He's already got a brace on it. Yep.
Yeah. So he's kept it the same to just avoid that swelling. It's just, he didn't want to be denied a chance to play the final 5 minutes against Duke in the national or in the final.
And the good news is, he's able to walk off under his own power here. Of course, that kind lady's like, you want me to help you down the steps? And that's the thing about having to play on these elevated courts. And that's tough. You see Matt Bowers, part of the communications team, one of the SIDs for the basketball team, along with Steve Kirshner. So now we have Puff Johnson back in the first substitution of the second half. And Puff is about to do one of the biggest, most important things in this entire game. And you love that. Now, a couple quick things in the chat. Some folks have said what they were doing when Mondo went down. I'm putting Amy's comment up here. She said, I was crying, just thinking about Armando and the pain he was going through. Look at him there on the bench. 5:18 to go. RJ bringing the ball up. Heels down to 67-65. Matthew says, everyone at my watch party was silent. And I think that was kind of where I was at, is like, because he was down. That was on the baseline where I was sitting. And so it was so hard to just be like, man, what's going on? Brady fouled in the act of shooting. There's Armando kind of jogging back to the tunnel. Nice to see there. And as Amy reminds us in the chat, Armando said it really took him a few months to get back to 100%, and even for that national championship game, was not in a good way there. All right, Brady at this point, only 10 points. Oh, and you see Bandcaro trying to talk some smack to him there. 4:56 right after Brady misses the first free throw. Here comes Brady's second attempt. Tar Heels down 67-65. Misses that one as well. If that's going to keep happening, you're not feeling good about what. Oh, and here comes Armando already. How quick is that? Clearly, as you said, Pac, he wants to be right back in this thing. Banchero trying to bully his way down again. Once again, Brady does what he needs to do. Leaky leading the break. Puff Johnson goes up and is fouled. So this is the first sub to come in the game in the second half. And he is fouled on a fast break. Armando coming back to the table to check in, which nobody thought was going to happen. Now, Pac, I need to be honest with you. When Armando went out, it's that same feeling I had like going into overtime against Baylor. I thought, this is done. Coach K is moving on to a national championship game. What were your thoughts as you saw there goes Puff hitting that first free throw? What were your thoughts with Armando being down?
Well, one of the things I kept noticing from my seat on the opposite the bench, Leaky was right there by Bacot the whole time, like there to pick him up. He walked with him over to the kind of see him talking to him, right, and patting him on the back. And it was almost this feeling of, don't worry, bro, I'm going to let us lose this game. And so actually, believe it or not, I felt kind of good about it. Like, guys are all tight-knit and close, and they're going, we got you, Bacot. And so, oddly enough, kind of reassuring to me. And then knowing that Puff came in and hit those 2 free throws, good. We're settled, we're steady, and Bacot was able to come back in.
Yes. Speaking of which, how hard is it to come off the bench cold and like the first play you're in the game, first play you're back playing ping pong on the backboard here. Brady a 3 from the top of the right wing, in and out. How hard is it to come in cold off the bench like that and have to knock down those 2 free throws? Oh, by the way, in the Final Four.
Yeah, that's, because you hadn't shot a ball in 20 minutes or 20 minutes of game time, probably an hour, a little bit cold. You're coming into 75,000 people with no shooting, and you just got to step up in a crucial moment and hit 2. And golly, Puff just stepped up and got it done.
Yeah, man.
And I think,
go ahead.
I just want to point out, Coach Davis trusted him and brought him in. It could have been any one of those guys. It could have been McCoy, who was a little bit older, but he trusted Puff because Puff, the times where he'd gotten his shot in the past, and golly, did he come through.
Boy, did he ever. And that's something that Coach Davis showed throughout the season, is how much he trusts Puff Johnson in any moment. So Armando just picked up his 4th foul, a shooting foul. Banchero's going to go to the line with the game tied at 67. You see Roger Ayers there checking in on Bacot, and you love to see that again with the referees. And so we got 2 Carolina players with 4 fouls. RJ has been playing with 4 fouls for about 4 minutes now. By the way, as we're getting ready for Banchero to shoot these free throws, I want to do our drawing for our Final Four program. And so I've got all the names of all the people who subscribed this week to Locked On Tar Heels right in here. And I'm going to pull a name out while Banchero makes the first free throw. And the winner of the Final Four program is Max Gardner III. What a great name is that? Right on. So Max, here's what I need you to do is send me a message, or send the show a message on Twitter, on YouTube, Facebook, email the show, lockedontarheels@gmail.com. We'll get you that program. All right. Let's keep going there. Banchero misses the second. RJ's got the ball. 3:15 to go on the right wing. Ball to Brady on the right corner. Back to RJ up top. Nice pick from Mondo. Leaky. Caleb down the lane. Oh, my goodness. Excuse me. Nice finish there from Caleb. Boy, howdy. Tar Heels up 69-68, 2:55 left. Just the temerity to come down and make a shot with under 3 minutes left in this game, put the Heels back on top. Just body blow after body blow. Banchero drives baseline. Ball tipped back out touch.
They tried to come off that ball screen there. He rejected it going downhill at the line and defended it well. Looks like they're trying to get him, maybe get him his fifth, which is smart.
Yes.
That's what I would do.
Absolutely. Just great, Mark Williams. You see the replay there. Honestly, I thought in real time Caleb should have dished to Armando because Williams comes over to block it and leaves Armando alone on the other side of the basket. Nothing doing. Okay, Brady to the line for a 1-and-1. 2:29 to go. Amy says in the chat, we'll start seeing Coach K's wife taking her celebratory walk soon. That's right. Mickey Krzyzewski leaves her seat and comes down courtside. All right. Mark Williams checks out. Just a little offense for defense. AJ Griffin comes in. Manek makes the first, putting Carolina now up 2, and there we get a shot of Coach Williams with his mask on, 70-68, and Brady's second free throw is no good. Rebound down to Keels, ahead to Roach on the left side, guarded by RJ. So, Pac, man, we're coming down to crunch time here. This is great. Duke, interestingly, something to keep an eye on, Duke only has one timeout left. Carolina, in typical Carolina fashion, still has 3, and that's going to play an interesting and monumental role down the stretch. Keels with a dagger important 3 and puts Duke up 1 with right at 2 minutes to go. RJ defended up top by
reason. I was just going to say that's a really big reason why. And Coach Williams always, number one, I mean, you're teaching your players to play through things, but number 2, you want to have them when you need them. We always have them when we need them. It's so imperative, so crucial.
And there is a monster 3 from Brady. Manek off an assist from Leaky. Heels back in front by 2, 73-71, a minute 23 left. Wendell Moore answers right back. This game is insane. And so right here with 1:18, Coach K uses the final timeout, not only of this game, but of his career, I guess we could say. Takes his final timeout right there, 1:18, off of the Wendell Moore 3 to put Duke back in front, 74-73, with 78 seconds left in this game. Pac, what are you feeling right now? What are you thinking as you say, oh, there comes Coach K's wife, Mickey, walking down, high-fiving all the Duke students right there. Pac, where are you at?
Man, I am just in a ball. I'm sweating it out. Sitting beside my wife and my best friend who we've been dying. It's like, when you see the bench and they've got their arms locked and they're just hoping and praying that they somehow come out. That was us, right? Like we were sitting up there just on pins and needles, just hoping we could. And we also were talking about the same thing you mentioned earlier. Hey, Duke's out of timeouts. That's down the stretch, and we've got 3 if we need them. So, if we take the lead and they start to pressure us, and they
just got to play. That's right.
Get the ball in, or if we need to ice a free throw, those things, we can do that.
Yep. You see the screen action there from Bacot coming back again. No. Can't get the switch. They're looking to get Mark Williams switched on to RJ, who takes a wild shot. Honestly, that was not the shot that the Tar Heels wanted RJ to take there. His body horizontal in the air, but he does get fouled in the act of shooting and is going to go to the line. Shooting foul there on Jeremy Roach, just his second. Remember, Tar Heels are down by 1 point here. Whew, man. And this is where you love.
That's some YouTube.
Something's happening on Pac's YouTube. On my screen, RJ is to the line. Here's first shot, and it's good. Tie ball game, 74-all, 61 seconds left. And this is where you love Carolina having multiple 80% free throw shooters in the starting lineup. Caleb, RJ, and Leaky all shot above 80% last season. All right, here comes Duke back with the ball, down 1. Amy is right in the chat, hair being pulled out. 53 seconds to go. Wendell Moore up top to Banchero, drives on Manek. Manek walls him off, back up to Moore. And there it is, Armando Bacot's fifth foul. He is out of the game. And for just the second time in the second half, North Carolina is going to have to substitute. And Puff Johnson will be the one to come back in. So just the second substitution of the second half. And turns out to be the only there are no more substitutions in this game for the Tar Heels. And so we nearly got the return of the Iron Five, but wasn't close. While we wait on this free throw, folks, good news for those, a couple already subscribers reach out to me and say, what? I'm already subscribed. Can I still be eligible to win? So I've got another Final Four program ready for you. And I'm going to give this in a drawing to some of our people who are already subscribed to the program. Awesome. Glad you're here. If you scroll up to the top of the chat, you can see a pinned chat, and it's another YouTube video. So we're watching this on March Madness's YouTube page. It's a full replay of the game. Right now, we're at 46 seconds left. Mark Williams is to the line for 2 free throws. And Matthew says it right here. Keep your eyes on our man, Puff Johnson, right after Mark Williams misses both of these free throws. And you love to see. All right. Here comes Williams' second free throw. Missed. Rebound down to Caleb Love. Great box out from glad you found it, Oscar. Way to go. So if you want to 40 seconds left, Caleb dribbling right wing, Tar Heels up 1, and boy, oh boy, it is nervous time for everybody as this is going on. Caleb drives, and there it is. Caleb Love with the iconic 3 that's going to go down in Carolina lore. Jeremy Roach, man, amazing from Jeremy Roach there. Gets the ball, drives right back. And listen, like as huge a play as that was from Caleb Love, for Jeremy Roach to come right back, it's just like the Luke May shot against Kentucky, like getting the ball inbounded and going back and getting the Blue Devils within 2. And so that's a great play. There it is, Caleb Love over the outstretched fingers of Mark Williams and his 4 fouls to get Carolina a 4-point lead. With just 25 seconds left in the game. All right, Caleb to the line for what is a 1-and-1 right here. Again, there are 17 seconds left on the clock. Tar Heels up 78-76. Coach Williams looks calm, cool, and collected in the stands. I'd love to see him with his mask off. All right, Pac, what do you think? What are you thinking here with having Caleb at the line? You feeling comfortable with it?
Yeah, because he's been hot in the second, and then him hitting the first one is huge. Being up 3 anytime in this situation is awesome because you have we want to foul up 3 and put him on the line.
Yep.
Or we just want to guard him out. So no matter what, it's possible to lose unless you give up the 4-point play. So that's nice. And then
there was that. I thought they were going to give him that basket. NBA, yeah. Oof.
Well, live in the arena, we couldn't hear the whistle.
Right.
It was pretty electric in there at the time. I just saw the official's hand go up, and I thought, oh my gosh, we just gave them an and 1. They waved the basket off.
The college rules, what they are, they absolutely, they adjudicated this play correctly. Like, in terms of the college rules, that is not an and 1. That is not, but obviously NBA. Yes, that is a continuation, and you get that bucket plow to tie the game, but not the case in. Okay, really quick, I've got one more giveaway to do to a subscriber for a Final Four program. I'm going to draw it out. Let's see who we get here. All right, and this one is going to Michael Mobley. So, Michael, same thing. Go ahead. Oh, Mark Williams on the replay. He hates to see that missed free throw. Michael Mobley, I need you to send me an address, DM, email the show, whatever it is, and we will get a Final Four program in its original wrapping sent off to you. Love it. All right, Pac. This is the final 10 seconds of the game. Let's reset. Tar Heels up 79-76. It'll be Trevor Keels to the line. And Todd is correct. We had that clutch box out. Todd's comment here in the chat. We had just had a really clutch box out from Brady Manek on the last set of free throws when Mark Williams missed those. And Keels is going to hit the first of these. Matthew spotting out his friends in the front row. That's pretty cool. You love to see that.
Yeah, notice here.
Go ahead.
So you've got Brady and Leaky, and they're going to they're going to pinch. So we got two big guys that are basically just taking care of him, and then Puff's got Banchero by himself. So it's a great job by Puff to block him out, and Caleb.
Just like, tell me, Pac, how difficult is a box out like that? I mean, Puff is one-on-one with the future first pick in the NBA draft, who is desperate to do anything he can to get this rebound. We like the Final Four in 2017. Carolina got all those offensive rebounds off of free throws against Oregon. What is it that Puff Johnson, like, how hard is it what he just did?
Oh, that's extremely hard, because in your mind you're thinking, oh man, I'm going to go hit this guy and try to drive him back. But at the same time, if you commit so hard to that, then you're going to slide through, right? Or he's going to spin around and he's going to be open. So you got to have really good balance act with your arms and just kind of seal them behind. And Banchero is a really strong guy, obviously. That's not an easy task by any means. And it was a really good job by Caleb to see the ball, just went and got it.
And go get it. Because somebody's got to go get it. It's one thing to box out. It's another thing for somebody else to go get it. All right, now here's another coaching question I want to ask you. Yes, Todd, 4 straight against Oregon in the final few seconds. We need to rewatch that one. Maybe that should be our next rewatch. Coach Davis ices Caleb here. But for good reason. He talks about, if you've ever heard him talk about why he did this, there was a moment in a JV game he was coaching, where he didn't take a timeout in a similar scenario, and it came back to burn him. So people often talk about, oh, Coach Davis has no head coaching experience. He does with the JV team, and that's what led him to take this timeout. He trusted it because it's Caleb, and he knew that Duke doesn't have any timeouts here. And so he has an opportunity to set up for the Tar Heels what they're going to do, make or miss, knowing that Duke can't get a rebound and call their own timeout. Do you agree with his decision on that timeout, or would you have not done that? Pac has to check out. Hopefully when he comes back, he can share his thoughts. But man, a bold move that you don't often see a coach make, and it speaks to how much trust coach has in Caleb. Makes the second. Tar Heels up for 8 seconds left. Banchero inbounds to Keels, guarded by Love. Keels is going to take a desperation 3-0. RJ rebounds it, and inexplicably, Duke doesn't foul again. Banchero kind of slaps at it, and then Duke just gives up. I know you don't think you're going to be able to do anything, but why not at least foul? Nice moment. You see the coaches shaking hands. And so, boy, what a moment. You see the Tar Heels jumping. Coach Williams with his hands raised. You see Miss Wanda Williams right there beside him. A great moment. And it's just, this is the first time for me the people in the arena released their breath. I felt like everyone is just like the entire game until the horn actually sounds nothing. Well, listen, for everything people will say about Coach K, I love that he waits around here, lets the Tar Heels celebrate, and then comes to shake hands with some of the guys. Classy move by a guy in his very last game. You got to give him credit for that.
Yeah. Hey, I want to take a suggestion. The Final Four game where I've attended, but I've been to roughly 50 life. This was the first time I was able to go to Carolina Duke. And so for me, it didn't quite like what I experienced this night. I know it wasn't your typical Carolina Duke Cameron Indoor, but my gosh, what was at stake? The environment, and there were Kansas and Villanova fans there too. So it was just 4 blue blood programs, and the fans were awesome. The environment was awesome, and after Carolina won, you could finally breathe, and finally just felt such a sense of relief. Man, celebrating and going nuts. And I mean, it was like, people you'd never seen before, you were treated life. It was hugs, high fives, smiles all around. So it was awesome.
Yep. My goodness. And I would agree. Yes, same thing as Pac said, Matthew. This was the first Final Four I had the privilege to attend, but have obviously, as Pac said, been in many other environments. Look at Brady. It's like he can't even process it yet, just standing there with his hands over his head. But this was unlike any atmosphere I had been in. Interestingly, there's Matt Norlander from CBS trying to get pictures of Coach K walking off. I had been at the Baylor game that Carolina won in overtime, and that was perhaps the most, prior to this, the most tense college sports environment I had ever been in. It was just absolutely insane. But this is just different because of the stakes, because it's the first time Carolina and Duke have ever played, because it's in the Final Four, because it's Coach K's last game. There's just nothing that can compare with this moment. And unlike anything, probably, I mean, who knows when they will play again in the NCAA tournament. It's gone this long without ever happening before, and it might never do so again. So North Carolina becomes just the 4th 8 seed to make the national championship in the modern NCAA tournament era, dating to 1985. You see 80 Bubba Cunningham there with Armando out on the court. Coach Williams is just pumping his fist with Antoine Jameson behind him with this huge grin on his face. You love to see that. Tar Heels and Jalen Monday night. Boy, love to have that one back. And so, as we said earlier, Carolina is now 15-0 when Caleb Love scores 20 or more points. Honestly, it felt, I mean, I know he had the big, huge 3, the iconic picture. It really felt like a pretty quiet 22 points for Caleb in the second half. There for me, Pac. I don't know. What about you?
Now, it was quiet until down the stretch whenever he started some big-time shots. But, yeah, I do agree. It was kind of a sneaky finish to the game out hot in the second half. And obviously what he did in clutch was awesome.
Yes. Oh, man. Well, folks, this has been so much fun to get to do. Hopefully it was a way to help you with not having a Carolina football game today to get to be part of this. Man, Pac, it was a lot of fun to get to do together, and just think back to the feelings after Chapel Hill, to how you felt after the game at Cameron, to how things felt after this one. Man, just what an unbelievable season in Coach Hubert Davis's first season coaching the Tar Heels.
Yep.
It was a lot of fun. Thanks to all of you who have tuned in and been part of it with us. As we know, today Carolina had a secret scrimmage against Rutgers. And so coming up next week, we'll get all the information we can about that. We'll probably talk about it on Tuesday, because coming up on Monday, show is going to be an interview with North Carolina cornerback Tony Grimes. And so we'll get to chat with him. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to drop 2 episodes actually on Wednesday. One will be our usual episode with Pac. We're going to be doing an ACC preview. And then also coming out is going to be an interview I did this weekend with Carolina women's basketball player Eva Hodgson. And so great conversation with her, and can't wait for you all to get to watch that as well. Pac, thank you so much, man, for doing this. It was great. Thanks for all your insights on the coaching side, kind of your behind the scenes. What final remarks or thoughts do you have before we peace out?
So we're so blessed as a fan base to have the coaching staff that we do and the players that majority of the team is coming back this year. So hopefully we can make some more memories as a university moving forward, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, indeed. All right, everybody. Thank you all for what you've said in the chats. Hope you have a great weekend. Hopefully Pittsburgh will lose tonight, and Carolina will have will be up 2 in the loss column in football. For Pac Kilby, this is Isaac Schade. Until Monday, peace.